Yeah, hello and welcome to a public live stream today. We do these regularly now, I think, for CPI. I start a couple of minutes early, just sort of for an introduction, and also to give you the possibility to hit the like button. It would really help to sort of spread the word about this live stream, that more people join. Been asked to do this live stream already last month, and I think it was really positive. A lot of positive feedback for doing a CPI live stream. Of course, also I don't know what kind of numbers will be released, but I think it helps a lot of people just sort of and it's nice to see it sort of and to watch the numbers come out in a community. Now, of course, it's the typical madness. Happens once a month, and that's sort of what everybody's looking at, and then they will be released, and then everybody can get on with their life. But I've seen a few people join the channel membership. I can only say thank you very much. We're always happy to welcome new people to the community. I need to say, if you're joining now, please make sure that you follow the join instructions. Yeah, just follow the join instructions, because last time when we did the CPI live stream, a few people joined the live stream and joined the membership actually in the live stream. They had no clue what to do and how to get access to Discord and Telegram, the live charts, the weekly live stream, whatever, Discord and Telegram communities. Please follow the join instruction that you should have seen after becoming member. If you missed them, please send an email to support@morecryptoonline.com. We can help. So just that nobody is lost. I think that's very important. But yeah, thanks so much for becoming members. It supports certainly More Crypto Online, supports the channel and the community. So already 340 viewers, and it's going up. So again, thanks for everybody who's joined. So we are going to do a bit of a CPI preparation live stream. First, talk about the expectations for the CPI release, and it should be in half an hour. When the CPI numbers come out, you'll probably see them before me, because you might be watching other apps, and I might be busy with talking or whatever, or my page doesn't refresh here. If you've seen the CPI announcement, just put it into the chat, because this is now the time where increased volatility will start. I remember last month it was basically sort of just 5 minutes before the CPI release that we saw a lot of volatility. But be ready for anything. Be ready that wave counts will be invalidated. Be ready that, or be prepared that we could get some stop losses taken out or whatever. So it's usually, unless you want to be speculating here, it's usually not really the day for trading, I would say, because normally it's better to wait for a clear setup when the dust has settled, which should be round about in an hour, 2 hours time. Because sort of the first half an hour, 1 hour after CPI release will be very volatile. Yeah, it's certainly an interesting day. I'm always looking forward to it, because we get a lot of interest in the markets, and we have more orientation about where it's going to head probably in the next few weeks. Now, welcome everybody. I see a lot of people coming in from Indonesia. Hello, welcome, and from different places in the world. Okay, so let's take a look quickly at what are actually the expectations. Someone put it already in the chat, 6.5. Yes, so 6.5% is the expectation for today. This is actually the record of what we had last month. So last month we had forecast of 7.3. The actual was 7.1%, which means the inflation increase reduced. Yeah, not the inflation. Well, yeah, the inflation reduced, but still prices went up, but sort of the increase in inflation reduced. That's the expectation this month as well, that we had 7.1% last month. So the forecast for this month is 6.5%. You can see that the peak was reached in June. So June might have been the absolute pivot, and since then we have been coming down. However, and that was the case last month as well, it is not coming down fast enough. And because it's not coming down fast enough, either interest rates will go up further, or even if interest rates don't go up further, but I think they will, I think if I remember correctly, the Fed said something around they're looking at something around 5%, I think 5.25%. So we're not there yet. So it might still go up further, and then they will probably hold it for a while until inflation has come down. So it's certainly not an easy environment at the moment. It's still way too high. Yeah? So we're not close to the 2 to 3% that they actually want in terms of inflation. So what does it mean? In terms of the numbers, obviously I have no idea what's gonna be the actual figure, but what you can, one second, I'll just have one eye on the chat as well. Just want to make sure, because sometimes some messages are hidden, so just want to make sure they all come out. Okay, so if we now get, forecast is 6.5. Anything above 6.5, I think will lead to an immediate drop. The reason I believe that is that we have sort of, looking at the Bitcoin Ethereum charts, we have sort of maxed out, not maxed out the chart and the pattern, but we've moved up quite a bit. We're now sort of pretty much overbought on various time frames, and that means any sort of negative trigger now could really lead to a strong move down. And I gave in my videos already the key pivot points, decision points, key support levels that will push us into different scenarios. However, if we get 6.5, I think it would be fairly neutral. If it's lower than that, that would actually be quite bullish and could actually add to the momentum that we already have here looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum. Because if we go to the daily chart, it's a bit slow here. But if we look at the daily, the momentum, obviously, looking at the MACD, which is a momentum oscillator, the momentum is still going up and it could sort of use that momentum to push even higher, right? So I think going below 6.5 would be seriously bullish. Maybe put into the chat what you think it's going to be. I don't know. I just have to make a guess because obviously I have no insider knowledge. My expectation would be... what would it be? I don't want to say anything wrong, but I'm just making a call here. I'm just going with... I'm going to go with 6.6. Okay, so that's my guess. It's only a guess. So that would probably lead to a low. Not necessarily a lower low straight away, but as you can see here in this pattern, and I made a video about Bitcoin and Ethereum earlier, we have certainly the possibility to go up further in the short term. And in this short-term scenario, we have space to go down all the way to 17,850, which would from now be a round about 2.5% drop, yeah, and still put a higher high in. If we get a stronger retracement, then we have the wave 3 high already in here, and we get a more substantial move down in a wave 4. I will also give you a support area for that. We want to put it onto the chart because things will move very quickly. So in this scenario, Bitcoin could still drop to 17,358 and still get this wave 5. So there are two scenarios here, I would say two bullish scenarios in which we can still expect higher highs. It depends on how far advanced are we actually in the count. However, if we drop on a sustained basis below 17,358 after the CPI data release, it probably means that a more substantial high has been made and that we are on track to at least test those lows down here around 16.4k and probably are on our way to put this fifth wave in to the downside in this Bitcoin diagonal pattern, which can take us down into the 14 to 15k region. Okay, so this is important to know. Bear in mind we've reached important resistance here. This is a resistance area. Here we had resistance, here, and we've now maxed out the wedge. So if I zoom out a little bit, you can see that we're in a descending wedge. We've moved up all the way to the top of the wedge. So a move any higher than 18,387 would lead to a breakout of the wedge. Now that could be potentially a bullish signal. It certainly would have bullish implications. So these are sort of this is sort of the most important breakdown for Bitcoin. We have CPI release in 20 minutes. 20 minutes. So 833 viewers. It's amazing. So please continue to hit the like button. Obviously won't be able to look at all requests, unfortunately, in this live stream. But when I pick some questions up, I will try to answer. But yeah, generally the constant, people seem to agree here, sort of between 6.4% to 6.7. Obviously, always a few people more or less, but sort of, yeah. Again, I said my guess is we get 6.6, but it's really only a guess. it's a guess. So looking at ETH, we want to talk about Ethereum scenarios as well. We are really coiling up for an explosive move here with ETH, and we might just now be breaking out to the upside. We have here, and it's not a very well defined, but we've got this kind of triangle, sort of bullish pennant here on the chart that we seem to be breaking out at the moment, but everything is to be taken with a pinch of salt here 20 minutes before CPI release. So be prepared for anything and very volatile movements and swings. Here, Ethereum, similar to Bitcoin, there is at the moment a case for still going higher in the green wave 3, which is part of this scenario that we could still go higher in the C wave. I'm not going to take a look at the bigger scenario in this video, because really what's important here in the short term is just, which support levels are we holding. Now, in this wave 4, and that's sort of in line with what I mentioned in the previous video, we have the case similar to Bitcoin to still go higher here in the 5th wave. This is only likely as long as we're holding also here the 50% retracement at 1377. So that's the key level. I'm going to highlight that onto the chart so that we don't forget about it when we get volatility. Should we break below 1377, and I'm not talking about a wick or so, I mean, we talk about sustain it, and we'll see that by maybe doing a retest or something, then we have one more chance to hold the green wave 4, because it would then indicate that the top has already been in here and that we're already further advanced in the chart. We could then come down in the wave 4 in green. However, we would then need to hold the 12, or let's say the $1,300 level. If we break below that, it's very similar to Bitcoin. Then we have most likely already a more substantial top in place here in the C wave, and will come down most likely, first of all, to retest here the 1180 level. That's an important support. It is a very important support range down here. But if we lose that, then we're probably going to head to $1,000. So it all depends on, we are in the current wave count as long as certain conditions are met. Yeah, it's a very difficult, very difficult for TA on days like these. But still, the fib levels still provide guidance, and the support areas still provide guidance in which kind of wave pattern and structure we are. So 20 minutes to go for CPI release. Okay, so what I wanted to make you aware of is also what's the schedule for releases for the CPI for this year. So obviously today is January the 12th, so we've got the first, this is actually the figures for December that will be released today in 20 minutes, 19 minutes. Then in January, we've got the figures for, in February, we've got the figures for January. That will be on February the 14th. So interestingly, on the 1st of Feb, we will have the next interest rate increase. Probably increase. Of course, nobody knows, but I think we all agree that there will probably be another increase. So, and then we've got March, April, and so on. So we don't really need to look at that far out. But the next one after this will be February 14th. I guess we're going to do another live stream on that day as well. And it's always 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. Now, looking at the next interest rate decision, that's the FedWatch tool. I can recommend that. They've been amazingly accurate in the past year especially. So currently we are looking here at let me just orient myself. I haven't looked at this for a while. Let me just look at that, where we are. So this is current, here, okay, that's the current rate. So current rate is between 425 and 450 basis points, so basically 4.25% and 4.5%. You can see that the vast majority of market participants, or at least that's the probability, would expect an interest rate increase by 25 basis points from 425 to 450 in February. So this is sort of the expectation, and I guess we will not see no increase, so we will probably see the 25 basis points. It always depends a bit on what obviously CPI data brings. If CPI today comes in way higher than anticipated, they might opt for the 50 basis point increase, which only like 25, but the probability is around 23.7%. So it's sort of, 3/4 here, 1/4 here. So that's sort of the probabilities. That might shift after today. You see, actually, it's 20 more days until the next FOMC meeting where they will agree on the interest rate. Okay. So yeah, in the meantime, I think I covered Bitcoin, I covered Ethereum. So we've got 15 minutes to go. I can look at a few charts here that are interesting at the moment. But again, bear in mind that today there will be a lot of distortion. So however, it will provide probably a better clarity for the next, let's say, 30 days, or at least until the 1st of February, where we're going to see the next interest rate increase. ADA, in line with my previous video, still hovering. Yeah, unclear situation here. Certainly, if it wants to move up from here and put another high, and it needs to do it now. But a drop below that B wave low below 30.7 cents will probably take us into this lower support box in a larger correction. So that's sort of no change to the previous video. Unfortunately, a bit unclear. We certainly have AVAX, which is really interesting at the moment. I saw a few questions about AVAX in the chat. Here, my count from yesterday is still valid at the moment. It's a bit of a moon count. I'm always very careful with these because this count suggests that we have 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. I actually think this is going to fail at some point because there is, for me, no way that we have 4 1 2 setups, but it's the best I have at the moment, which means we can go way high, and it's a very bullish count, but it's totally unrealistic. But as long as it holds, obviously, it can be used. Now here the idea was in my video yesterday that we probably come down here in a fourth wave at the moment. Also a bit like Ethereum, this is valid as long as we are holding the 50% retracement, which means here 1437. Below 1437, it's probably going to break down, I would say. Yeah, then we have probably only a situation of an ABC here, and it was just a corrective rally. It really needs at least one more high to at least, this is already quite an impulsive move, but sometimes with those news, I mean, we had Amazon Web Services news yesterday or the day before, so that obviously spiked this, and it just now needs to prove that it can hold the support levels. Otherwise, all the buyers are going to sell into all the sellers are going to sell into the rally, and it's bringing the price down too much. Important in a wave 4 is always to hold the 50% retracement. Yeah, drop below that makes the chart just unreliable. But it's certainly an interesting one to follow. It's certainly back on my radar. Yeah, it became, I sort of ignored it for a while because it was just coming down. First got back onto my radar when we tried to break out here, I would say just in time, and now we obviously see a lot of volume due to the news. Yeah, sometimes you get this kind of catalyst. Yeah, Nick just commented, I have not met anyone who's sustainably profitable on CPI releases. No, normally I would argue that unless you really know what you're doing, you shouldn't trade CPI, and a lot of professional traders avoid CPI data releases because it just doesn't give you any clear setups. Yeah, it can easily throw you out of the trade because there is a lot of uncertainty. So it's a bit like gambling. Of course, a lot of people doing it, but no certainty. You can be extremely lucky, yeah, but there is really no real certainty. So it's extremely difficult to trade something when you don't really know what's going to happen because it depends on the numbers which are released. I mean, there's obviously a forecast, and it's a bit like gambling, you would say. When you don't know the numbers, you can't really, your probabilities are being thrown over, really. So we looked at ADA, we looked at Bitcoin, Ethereum. We can take a look at Solana. There's certainly one other one which is at the moment very much looked after because we saw a lot of volatility here as well. This is still moving in the channel. It's a bit like ADA, but here I would even say with greater certainty that we get one more high in, because this is sort of, it just looks more like a classical consolidation. It also broke out of this channel to the upside yesterday, this corrective price channel, which was a first signal that we are moving higher. But of course, we now need to hold this and push higher. Again, I can only say again that today things are a bit uncertain, right? If we now measure that distance of the low to that high, we could say, okay, maybe this is already a 1-2 setup in the fifth wave, but it needs to hold the 1567 level now. That's the 78.6 retrace. If it doesn't hold that, we're probably going to get another low and we'll break down below the $15.30 level, right? Okay, so 10 more minutes. By the way, I just need to get some water. Give me a minute. I forgot to get a bottle of water, so give me a minute. I'll be back in 30 seconds. Okay, I'm back. So at the moment, we don't really see a lot of volatility yet. I think the market is still waiting, but I would expect it to start sort of in 5 minutes. This will be the interesting time. And then for a very short period, a lot of volatility during well, just after the release. So again, if you know the numbers, as soon as you see them, please put them into the chat as soon as they come out, because I might miss them. I might just be waffling and talking. Okay, I looked at Solana now as well. I looked at Gala. Another interesting one that I found was Mana, because this is also doing something impulsive at the moment. Also here, made you aware of a resistance area which was reached, a target was reached. We came down into the support area, already left it. Well, now we've come back into it. Similar situation to Solana. But here I would say even with a higher probability, we could get one more high in, yeah, at least. Yeah. So this was made quite an impulsive impression. Looks a little bit like Gala, the count. So as long as we're following here. By the way, you can also put a trend line, very nice trend line here on the chart. I think that's a pretty obvious one. So as long as we're holding this trend line, also this would be further confirmation that we're pushing higher in a fifth wave. So it's also an interesting setup that was, and we might have the 1-2 setup now of the fifth wave. Again, here condition is we're holding the 37.1 cent level. Yeah, someone wanted to see Quant as well. So someone said, my view, if I'm an IT, I'm certainly not an IT professional. Certainly not an IT professional. I know some IT stuff, but I'm not. So Quant QNT is unchanged from previous videos, yeah. It still is in a sideways consolidation here. My view is that we are not in a breakout yet, but if we get really a move above 127.35, I have to assume a low was in. For me, the situation here is unchanged, that we reached the long-term accumulation area. We're turning around at the moment, but the lower level price action for me doesn't clearly convince me yet that we are already doing the breakout. I think we could have a high chance, or we have a high chance, of putting one more low in here. That would be in the $100 area, maybe even a bit lower, all the way down to 80. This chart will turn bearish below $80. But yeah, as long as we're holding 80, everything's fine. Below 80, I would personally set a stop loss if I was trading this, sort of as a swing trader. However, that area is good for long-term accumulation, I believe, as well. But below $80, there is an increased risk of dropping below 40 as well. Yeah, so that is sort of a make or break point here. But yeah, again, this could still be a triangle that we're doing here, actually a wave 4 triangle. The longer this takes sideways, the higher that probability is, really. Oh yeah, Kevin, I did leave my Chili's position a while ago. I do mention it always in the channel membership. And by the way, I see a lot of people joining as channel members. So again, thanks so much for your support. If anybody's interested in doing that, then feel free to do that. Yeah. Again, it would support the channel. It's a great community. Honestly, I couldn't do it without you. Obviously, this channel, all the the members, the community, even if you're not a member, all subscribers, and the positive comments in the community, in the comment section of all these videos, it encourages me to carry on, to build more crypto online further. Again, Shout out to the admins as well, because without Ruth, Alex, and Sebastian, I couldn't do it. So amazing support here and help, and obviously More Crypto Online will grow further. But if you are if you want to join as a member, get additional benefits, live charts, and all sorts of stuff, which you probably know about, then feel free to do that in this live stream. But make sure that you follow the join instructions, because in the last live stream a lot of people joined as well and then were lost, didn't know what to do. So if you missed the join instructions, please just reach out either through the website, you find our email there, or just email straight away, support@morecryptoonline.com. Sultan is asking where I'm from. Originally from Germany, but I live in the UK at the moment. So that's where I'm based at the moment. But we're an international community, right? So yeah, I think volatility might be starting just now. Yeah, as I said, 5 minutes before. So let's go to the Bitcoin chart. Bitcoin. Because Quant was just dropping, but Bitcoin we don't see much. I go to the 30 now. I go to the 15-minute chart, because that's, we probably have enough detail really. Again, the key support levels are defined here. Be ready for it to start any minute. It normally starts like 5 minutes before and then lasts for half an hour, and then the dust needs to settle afterwards to really make a call. In the meantime, please hit the like button to spread out the word about this stream further. It's amazing how many viewers we have. I don't think we've ever had a live stream with more viewers. I'm not sure. I think maybe 2021 we had a live stream, which was the Cardano hard fork. We had a lot of viewers there, but yeah, I think this CPI, these CPI live streams are great. Again, just repeat for everybody who's new here or just came in, 6.5% is the forecast. Volatility should start any minute really. We've got two scenarios here for Bitcoin. Ethereum is a very similar count. Bitcoin in that short-term upside scenario should not drop below 17,850, and in the even if we drop below that, we have another chance to find support here. But if we drop below 17,340, then probably this upside potential is gone, and we come down to retest the $16,400 area. And probably, in my view, would be if we come down to that level, it's not going to hold eventually. Yeah, maybe initially, but eventually it's not going to hold, and we can then drop down to around 14 to 15K. So it's highly interesting. Again, more viewers coming in, which is amazing. 6.5% is the forecast. My guess was 6.6% as actual, but I could be totally wrong. It's just a guess. There's obviously lots of different opinions. I'm no insider, so it's just really a guess. And we seem to be going up at the moment, yeah. But what often happens is that up and down movement, which is absolutely not reliable. So I normally treat this as a little bit watching it just for fun, because until the dust has settled, you can't really make a call about, have we really invalidated a scenario? Of course, there are rules, but sometimes you get, especially on days like these, distortions of certain waves, and sometimes you can't take that price action too seriously. We've got a lot of algo bot trading on days like these. A lot of market makers involved, a lot of speculation. But besides that, I hope you all have a great day. Yeah, obviously people from all over the world, so different time zones here as well. I think some people joining here from middle of the night. I've seen. By the way, put in your chat, in the chat what time it is where you currently are. Would be interested to see that. Here it's 1:30 in the afternoon, just after lunch basically. So few people obviously who just joined. I mean, I just checked Solana. No change basically to the previous video. As long as we're holding 15-17 to keep it very short here, we still have a chance to put that fifth wave in. But until we really see a breakout above, oh wow, all these times, awesome. Until we see a breakout above the last high here at 1698, things are a bit uncertain. Important would be obviously to hold the 15-17 level. Below that level, we're dropping into this different scenario where we have a deeper retracement in a wave 2. So just to keep it very short. Oh wow. lots of people from all over the world. Dubai, I see, Sweden, Indonesia, San Jose, Seattle. Oh, it's amazing, all the worldwide community. And again, thanks for all your support, guys and girls. See, the great thing is, if these streams are so popular when CPI, I'll do them again, right? Every month. And probably also next public stream we can do. I mean, I sometimes do public, obviously we do the member live streams every Sunday, where we cover sometimes, Elliott Wave trading tips, technical analysis tips, some fundamentals. Last week we looked at AI coins, yeah. I bought some AI coins after the stream because just looking into the topic convinced me it might be interesting. And they've gone up now. I'm quite happy with that, but obviously we're far away from what I think these can achieve. It's more a long-term hold. But then next public live stream, again, I'll do these sometimes when we have very wild movements. Now we start to see it. Yeah, and it's coming down and up. So this is now the madness. Don't take any of this too seriously. So see, this does not invalidate yet this count, but it might do any minute because we haven't really broken out of, but now we do, yeah. Wow. I mean, what's the numbers? Is it 6.6? What's the actual, let me go to, okay. I don't know, I need to refresh, it's not coming through yet. Do you actually have the, no update, no update, no update. Is it 6.5? It might have been 6.5, yeah, if you all say that. It's not updated, see, it's annoying on this page. It doesn't really update, actually. One more try. They should normally update it here quite, but probably everybody's on this page now. Don't worry. If you say it's 6.5, it will be 6.5. So it's basically as expected, 6.5, what the market expects. So for Ethereum, it's currently fighting with the support area. It has not substantially broken below it, as you can see, with Ethereum, so it's still holding it, but it's come down quite deep. Ideally we're holding this and go up now in wave 5, but obviously this is too early to really say that. It's certainly some selling pressure currently here. Yeah, certainly some selling pressure. Normally 6.5 you would say, it's sort of as expected, is fairly neutral, which is probably why we currently see here this indecision candle as well, because the market, it's sort of what is expected. So 6.5 was the market forecast. And it's currently just holding, sort of Bitcoin dropping a bit, massive volatility on Bitcoin, but also here it has not invalidated the current scenario. So that's actually for now a good sign. In terms of wave count, I mean, yeah, you could say we maybe came down here in this fourth wave now in a wave A. This could be a B wave. We came down in C in an impulse, but obviously it's a bit too early. There's still going to be a lot of volatility probably for the next 10-20 minutes. So we can hang around here and observe that for a bit, because there's still a lot of people here on the stream. Obviously interesting. It's not really dumping yet, so we can scroll through. Quant not really moving. So yeah, I mean, because it is basically what the market sort of anticipated, you don't really see too much. ADA dropping a bit, but also here nothing really that is in any significance here in the context. The thing is, if it's actually as the market expects and we don't really see massive movements, it's actually quite good, because we can just carry on with the count as it was. It's a good sign generally if it's as expected, because it means it's probably priced in already. So Himanshu, thanks for putting that out there. 6.5 is year over year. Core CPI is 5.7 year over year. So that gives, at the moment, Ethereum and Bitcoin still the possibility to put one more high in before we come down in this green wave 4. It obviously doesn't need to do it, but the possibility is still there. The market is obviously, still overheated. I mean, on the daily chart, we are still overbought with Ethereum, for example. Yeah, I go back to the 30-minute chart. Bitcoin here, where were we? Also pretty much overheated, I guess. Pretty overbought, yeah. But I mean, the momentum is still going up on the daily. What I did talk about in previous videos is obviously, and I find that really interesting, I'm observing this closely. It's now we're going to 18K. But on this 2-week chart, that first green bar, yeah, on the 2-week MACD, I mean, whenever that happened before, it indicated that the low usually was in, right? When that happened after a bear market, a bullish crossover on the 2-week MACD was actually quite bullish historically for Bitcoin. So I'm just pointing that out, not saying that the low is definitely in, but it's certainly something that we need to observe. For me, price action is still key, and the validation, invalidation points, but it's certainly something we shouldn't ignore. I use it more to confirm, my own view, but at the moment, this is certainly something that would be in contrast to what I expect medium term, because I don't think the Bitcoin low is already in. But yeah, if Bitcoin does some certain movements, I will confirm the low is in. Obviously, I mentioned in previous videos what Bitcoin needs to do to confirm that. Yeah, we don't see too much movement. I mean, all of this could just be the wave 4 here for Bitcoin, Ethereum. I think Solana isn't really moving. ADA isn't really moving. We can have a look at what Gala is doing. That's certainly the other coin that a lot of people wanna know about, but I would probably believe it's also not moving too much, which makes my life easier because I don't need to revise all these charts, and we still have a possibility. See, no noticeable movement at all. Ethereum is actually sees some nice and green volume now, so it might actually have put in here a small ABC structure in some way. And now we see a bit of a green candle to the upside. And yeah, still welcome to everybody who's still joining, obviously. I mean, we talked about CPI, have been talking about it for half an hour now, but obviously numbers are out. So Based Ak is asking, why did everything drop? Well, it's just the volatility around the inflation data. So that's what happens every month. If you're not too familiar with it, these numbers are released every month, and I wouldn't take any movement too seriously, around the time. But maybe we are witnessing now that fifth wave, and that would be amazing because, again, as long as we're holding this support, the idea was to push that fifth wave and put that fifth wave in. Bitcoin not really moving too much, but I can go to the 30-minute chart as well. Maybe even the 15-minute chart, we might have a bit more detail. Ethereum seems stronger at the moment in the short term than Bitcoin, which is no surprise because Bitcoin has really, if I zoom out a bit, Bitcoin has moved against this key resistance, right? Here, key resistance, and then also this descending trend line is certainly holding it back. But I think we could see quite a bit of a push if we break above that 18,000, let's call it 18.4K level. This could become, and few people commented, could this be a cup and handle? I mean, yeah, but the handle is still missing. So you certainly see here, it's not a great shape. So it's not perfectly round. Normally you want to see round movement as some kind of an accumulation phase. But if we now get something like this, yeah, like the wave 4 down, and you could have your wave 4 down and the wave 5 up, basically cup and handle. Great example of how the Elliott waves work together with more traditional patterns, right? Yeah, a few people. Yeah, what's actually the DXY doing? I don't know. Let's open the DXY. By the way, if you don't know, I do analyze the DXY regularly on my second channel, More Trading Online. So okay, putting another low in here. Obviously, we are in my support area, so I would need to look at the detail here. But probably we had a wave 4 here. Then need to revise this triangle. So the idea was anywhere in this white support area, ideally to put a low in for the DXY. And we are still in the white support area, so it's all still valid. And a first sign that we are going higher would be that we break above $106 for the DXY. I do expect that shortly to happen. But for now, the trend is still down, and we're probably putting in here currently, obviously, another low. Then, however, I would expect quite an extensive recovery for the DXY in a B wave before we crash down. So looking at crypto, that might mean, because they are sort of inversely related, is that the right word? Negatively correlated. The B wave up should lead to a drop in crypto. That would make total sense because I still expect another low for Bitcoin. Yeah, so that can take the DXY into the region $110 to $115. So that would mean a serious drop for crypto, could lead Bitcoin to another low. Okay. By the way, this I do analyze that on my second channel, More Trading Online. You can find that linked below the video or below the stream, and or you can find it by looking for More Trading Online. I do analyze the DXY every couple of days. But if the wave B is in, then I would expect a wave C down, and it could take it to $80, $90, and that could be the beginning of the bull run for crypto. Okay, so again, this will probably take a few weeks or months to play out, this B wave. I don't think the bull run will start in a period where we have the DXY moving up again. But yeah, that's sort of how I make sense of it. I don't like those correlations, and they won't last forever. But at the moment, there is this correlation. And if the DXY goes down, we normally see crypto go up. That's why here we had this correlation of over the last few weeks, Bitcoin did actually move up quite nicely, right? Not always related sort of to that degree, but you could argue that that move up will lead to quite a strong drop in crypto. And that's why I think anybody who entered any of these support boxes that I talked about here last few weeks, last couple of months, taking partial profits is not a bad idea at the moment, but everybody needs to decide that obviously for themselves, right? But so yeah, besides that, still see people joining, but obviously, yeah, CPI is in. I mean, we currently see here indecision. Market hasn't really made up its mind. It's what you would expect. If we get like figures that are what the market expects, you don't really see too much volatility, which again, in the end is quite good. At least it doesn't sort of throw the whole chart over and lead to many distortions. With distortions, I mean, I guess at the moment we can still argue we are still in this fourth wave. This dropped out of the support box, but it was never broken substantially, and we never invalidated the pattern because we never broke into the wave 1 price region. So that's at the moment fine. We are currently holding the support area. But that's sort of what I mean with distortions. Sometimes those waves can, or those events can, lead the waves to their extreme targets. And obviously, if you have exchanges which have, if you have exchanges that have less volatility volume, you might see more extreme prices. AV just asked, does being oversold mean nothing? I'm not sure what you refer to. I mean, Ethereum is currently certainly overbought still on the daily. But overbought doesn't mean it has to come down immediately. I mean, what you normally see is it's overbought, then it will either consolidate and the indicator will come down, or the price will come down a bit, and then will go up again, and you might get a bearish divergence while the price is still pushing higher. The RSI is coming down already, and that is then an indicator that's starting to drop. Well, we don't even have a bearish divergence yet on the daily. On the 4 hour, you have one now, yeah. So that's certainly something to watch out for, but it also doesn't mean it has to crash down immediately. So I always see indicators as being secondary. In the member live stream next Sunday, I want to talk about, eventually the community will vote for it, but I want to talk about how to use indicators together with Elliott Wave, what to treat as more important and what indicators I'm using. So if you're interested in joining that, maybe consider to join as a channel member. You get these Sunday live streams. I think they're extremely valuable. I honestly believe you won't find more information and tips and tricks for that membership price anywhere else, honestly. But I could be wrong. If you know anybody, let me know, because I want to join that community. But we don't see any much, not much more here. We've done here 45 minutes. We can hang around for a bit to see if anything exciting is happening at the moment, but I think it's just gonna hold here and needs to sort of let the dust settle a bit. 15-minute chart, yeah, nice volume we see. Solana has come down, but also here it's actually holding. It basically retested this corrective price channel, but it's also still in this corrective price action. We don't really have any significant breakout here. Market doesn't know what it's doing. I guess we might see some more action maybe later today when the dust has settled and the market has calmed down a bit, because it's just hovering at the moment. Maybe needs another catalyst. Here AVAX as well came down, but never invalidated that wave 4. I just talked about it before we actually got the CPI data. AVAX can still push higher here in this impulse as long as it's holding the 1437 level. So it's doing that right now. It's holding that, okay. So I'm just having a look if there are any questions in the chat. Obviously, I can't answer them all. Yeah, Gala I already looked at. Ethereum wave 5 target. I think that hasn't changed to the previous. Well, it has changed, obviously, because the wave 4 has come down lower now. I would currently still treat this as a wave 4. So the target range could be... So the first target would normally be the 1416 level now, because the wave 4 has come down so much, but that's not realistic. Probably more around the 1447 level here. That's the 1-to-1 ratio between 3 and 5. That's a common target as well, especially if the 61.8 ends at the high of the third wave. So I wouldn't use that as a target. It should really ideally push higher here, and 1447 would be a likely one. For ETH, thank you, Crypto Meme. Thanks so much for that comment about the membership. Yes, Chili's. By the way, in the membership I do every week, I cover opportunities coins. So I'm talking about certain opportunities with coins. And I think here we might be witnessing currently a B wave with Chili's. So it's come down to 9.7 cents. This move down in December was unfortunately stronger than it would have been ideal. So it puts this overall bullish case for Chili's as a 1-2 setup since the June low. It's a rather unreliable one because we dropped too low in this wave 2, but it's still possible that it finds support because it never got invalidated. So we then need to look for 5 waves to the upside. We might see 5 waves up here. Certainly can count 5 up. We now come down in an A wave, done. Probably here the B wave might be nearly finished. That's sort of my best view of it at the moment. But for the B wave, it should ideally stay below 12.6 cents. And then we should come down once more in C. So that C wave would finish off a wave 2 here. And that could be another entry point, right? But yeah, guys, I think, to be honest, I think CPI is over. I will, of course, I need to finish now. We've done 45 minutes. Got some other bits and pieces to do. Can't obviously cover all requests, a lot of people here, but again, I'm gonna close the live stream now. There will be further videos today anyway. If anybody is interested to get more updates, because as Gold member you get additional updates, all sorts of stuff, feel free to check out the channel membership. Even if you only try it for a month, it's not for you, you can always leave. And other than that, thanks for all your support, and hopefully you enjoy all the content. And thanks again for supporting More Crypto Online. I hope you will have a great day and watch out for further updates. So yeah, thanks again and see you in the next videos and live stream. Bye bye.